Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show today. I'm really glad that everybody could join us because today we're talking about, a lot of things relating to marketing strategy, how you can get more leads in the door, how you can convert more of those leads, and many other things that we'll be diving into that will help you make more money in your business. So with us today is Clay Clark. Now, Clay is a former U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, a member of the Forbes Business Coach Council, an Amazon best-selling author and host of the Thrive Time Show podcast, which has hit #1 on the iTunes charts in the category of business 6 times now. Now, throughout his career, he's founded several multi-million-dollar businesses, including DJConnection.com, EpicPhotos.com, EaterLounge.com, not sure if I pronounced that correctly, MakeYourLifeEpic.com, and throughout his career, he's been featured in Fast Company, Bloomberg, Forbes, Entrepreneur Magazine, Pando Daily, and numerous other publications. He's been the speaker and consultant of choice for top brands throughout the country, including Hewlett-Packard, Maytag University, and Valspar Paint, and O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Now, Clay is also the co-founder of, of 5 children. Going to clarify that with him, and is the proud owner of thousands of trees, dozens of chickens, and 13 cats. Clay, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming today.
Hey, I really appreciate you for lowering your standards to allow me on the show.
So you're the co-founder of 5 children. Did I read that incorrectly?
No, that's correct. I put that in our bio because my wife and I do everything together, and we got married when we were 20 years old, and I'm almost 39 years old now, and we have multiple, successful companies, but our family is very much at the center of that. And I only did just a little part of the effort needed to co-produce those kids. But we have 5 great kids, and I have one wonderful wife who serves as our CFO.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it put that way, and I'm glad I didn't mess it up because nothing's worse than messing up somebody's bio.
Oh, you're good. I used to DJ weddings, and I would mispronounce the vast majority of names that were not like Tom Smith or Mike Peters. I mean, I would be practicing so you always remember that one time you mispronounced somebody's name, and then you think you get it right, and you screw it up again. So about every 5th wedding, I'd mess up someone's name.
So there's some interesting things that we mentioned before this started, and I have to get clarification on it. Hopefully
Sure.
I'm doing it. Well, you're a podcaster, so you're fine.
Yeah.
So is this accurate that you never leave your building? What's the story behind this?
Well, let's do this. I'll just pull up my calendar so I can walk you through my day. So today I got to work at 3:30 a.m. And then at 3:30, I worked out with one of my business partners, John. And then I finished my workout. And then after the workout, I sent the radio files. Our podcast is also broadcast on AM radio opposite Rush Limbaugh in a few markets. So I sent that out. And then at 6 a.m., we had our first meeting with I call them our coaches, but we have 160 clients that we work with and only 160. And then after that, I hopped into my next meeting, which was Clay Stairs. He's a client I coach. He's a leadership expert guy. And then I hopped on the phone with one of our franchisees, Kat and Adam, at 8. These are all hour increments now. At 9 o'clock, Trinity Employment, Tulsa's largest employment specialist company. I've worked with them for 7 years as a client. Helped them. Then the largest accounting practice in Oklahoma, Paul Hood CPAs, he came in at 10 o'clock. We're having a big financial workshop at his, if you can believe this, he has a 25,000 square foot house he's finishing constructing. And so we planned out the big grand opening thing. And then at 11 o'clock, I met with Pastor Chad. And then at 12, I'm meeting with you. And then at 1, I meet with one of the largest fitness companies called Colaw Fitness at 1. And then I meet with the Elephant in the Room partner call at 2. And then Justice Tumbling at 3. Macro Meals at 4. Platinum Pest at 5. 6 o'clock, I meet with a home flipper in Tulsa. And then I go home.
That's not bad. It sounds like you pretty much do live in the office. That's like from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So that's 15-hour day.
Yeah, and that's my Thursday. I have like certain days where I grind, and then work is my worship, and it's what I do for fun. And so usually I'm done though at 5 every day. But this is but I'd say 15 hours a day every day. And then on Saturday, my phone's off. You can't reach me. Sunday, my phone's off. Can't reach me. And every day when I get home, my phone's off. And I usually try to end my day at 5, but Thursday is my long day.
That's cool. That's good that you separate that. And when you're at home, you're really present with your family.
Oh, because there's always one more text, baby. There's one more email. There's one. If you're like, if you're entrepreneurial and you grew up poor like I did, you kind of want to just close one more deal, or you want to, make one more connection, or introduce one more person to the dream job. Maybe I have a friend who's hiring, or you know what I mean? You always want to solve one more problem, and it's an addictive. Success can be addictive, and I think you have to have those boundaries. And I Didn't discover this phone off technology or the not leave technology until 2007 when I received the Entrepreneur of the Year award. I was in a limo driving to Oklahoma City, and my wife asked me the question when I was going to, if she said, hey, babe, do you think you'll have time to schedule time with our kids? And I remember going, I'm a horrible person. But I didn't have that thought until 2007. So I didn't have any boundaries at all, 7 days a week. And I was killing it financially, but I was really killing my family.
That's cool. And then you turn that around, you set boundaries. I think that's so important, is to be able to set boundaries. You have to determine what you want and then kind of determine the boundaries that are in place for you to be able to get it.
You just said a powerful thing, determine what you want. And what other people want is different from what I want. So these are real examples. And this might be a great teaching point for somebody out there. But when I was building DJ Connection, I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. All right. And I was chasing the market. The tipping point hadn't happened. No one was chasing me. I was chasing the market. I was just knocking on doors, cold calling, literally making over 100 outbound calls a day while also working at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV, calling from my singular cell phone, careful to not be in the roaming area. If people called me and I was out of the roaming area, I would hang up. So if I called you and I was out of the roaming area, I would hang up on you and then you would call me back. So it would be on your phone bill, not mine. I mean, just that kind of stuff. I had all that going on. And then I, the realtor says, well, hey, you qualify for a big old house. And I'm going, well, I probably should get a big old house. Cause isn't that what you do? You get the money, then you get the house. I get the house. And then it's like, the car guy's like, hey, a guy like you with your profile, you can't be driving around in a beat up old van. You can't. I'm like, yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, everybody's trying to, then the chamber's like, do you want to do a full page ad? Celebrating your this, and then the junior achievement says, could you speak on Wednesdays? And then the church is like, could you preach one sermon? I could preach. What preach? We want a church member to talk about diligence. Could you talk? And you say yes, and then the local high school says, could you sponsor the DJ? It could be the DJ Connection team. For the traveling team, and have the DJ Connection logo on the Celtics jerseys for the girls basketball and the 7th grade girls basketball. You love basketball, right? So now you look at your calendar and you're at the girls 7th grade girls Celtics game. You're there. You're at the chamber. You're at churches speaking. You're getting awards, and then you're nowhere because you spend your whole life seeking something that you can only find at home. But then when you realize what matters most is where you're spending your least amount of time, you start to do the whole no thing. And you got to say no to grow. And so I say no a lot. So recently the mayor of it's a big town, not Tulsa, but the town near us. He says, could you meet my office? I want to meet with you because I want to hire you guys to grow my business, to grow my, to help him get reelected kind of thing. And I say, no, but I respect you, but you can come to my office and I have an availability at this specific time in October. And he's like, well, you're not going to get my business then. Well, that's great. And I do that a lot. I do that at least 20 times a day, probably. So.
Well, how do you get to that point, Clay? I mean, I think a lot of people are understanding the first part of what you said, where the struggle and getting to that point and sacrificing anything. But how do you kind of get to the level that you are? I mean, I know that moment where it triggered for you, where you're like, look, like you said, I spend the least amount of time in what matters the most. And then you get to a point where he says, no, that's got to be uncomfortable at that point.
Oh, and okay, so let's get really specific with it. I want all the listeners to get out a sheet of paper today. Let's write down our goals for our F6 goals. Our goals for our faith, our goals for our family, right? Our goals for our fitness. Oh, that sucks. Fitness. Some of us, working out, it's like, I don't want to do that. So all of us have different struggles, right? Some of us love faith. You are just sitting there meditating on a lily pad. You and Yoda, you got your Bible, you got your Book of Mormon, you got whatever going on, and you're just a spiritual person, but you're not selling something. Okay, so faith, family. Some of us love family. We're teaching our kids how to fire walk, and we're teaching our kids how to play the piano, but we're not selling anything. And then some of us, faith, family, finances, some of us make a ton of money, but our family hates us, right? So we all have different areas where we're dysfunctional. Everybody, myself included, we have different biases: faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, and fun. So you make a list. So on my list, I put Andy Matherin as my friend. Just Andy Matherin. If you look him up, Mathurin, Andy Matherin, a beautiful man. He has an English accent. He's a very attractive man. He's a dark-skinned fellow. He played Division I basketball. He looks like Rick Fox from the NBA. He played in the NBA, or he played professional basketball in Europe, not in the NBA, but he played Division I basketball at Oral Roberts University. 6'5", built like an Adonis, literally a 40-inch plus vertical. He's now 40 years old. Can't jump as high, but he can still dunk. And he still looks that way. And I put it in my calendar. Sundays, I will play him in basketball outside of my man cave. We have a pool with a waterfall, and I'm going to play him basketball one-on-one until I beat him. So I call Andy. Boop, boop, Andy, you want to play basketball? He says, oh, you know it. And he loves playing because I never win. So we're playing to 21. Every time I lose, I have to run it back. And now we're a 40-year-old man and a 39-year-old man almost are playing basketball for hours. And then the wives are like, can the kids participate too? Can we do 2-on-2? Like, oh, sure. So we pass them the ball. We're playing they're still beating us. And that mattered most to me at that moment. You want to be present mentally and physically. So that mattered to me at that moment, spending the time with one of my best friends who was an employee of mine he was an employee for me at the age of like 19, and now we're still best friends. And spending time with his 5 kids and my 5 kids, that mattered. My phone was off. I was with him mentally and physically and spiritually. I was all there. Boom. But then Monday, when I pull up my calendar at 6 a.m., I meet with Nathan with Complete Carpet Care. I've helped that guy triple his carpet business. And if my wife calls, I'm not going to get it. Andy calls, I'm not going to get it. If someone texts me, I'm not going to get it. If somebody leaves a complaint at Elephant in the Room, our men's grooming lounge, it's a haircut chain. If somebody complains, I won't know about it until when? My Monday meeting, which is at 8 a.m. So every Monday at 8 a.m., that's when I have my management meeting for Elephant in the Room, and all my complaints, I deal with them all then. But if you hate me or you're mad at me or you complain about me, my employees are forbidden to tell me until Monday at 8 a.m. And if they tell me, I'll write them up. Don't tell me. Don't talk to me. I give them latitude. You can refund somebody. You can do whatever. But do not wreck my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Don't tell me. And then I interview all of our candidates on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. I interview every single job candidate at the same time. Crazy. So we have hundreds of employees, so I interview them all at one time. So like last night, I interviewed 30 people at one time. And it's just a faster way to do it. And it's all designed so that way Wednesday night, I can play my sons or my kids. I can compete against them in racing in the pool. We race, and they're really good at swimming underwater. They're good at that. And then I, play my kids in basketball. And it's very important that I do that. So again, you just got to block out time. So how do you get there? When I built the DJ Connection business, I worked at Applebee's, Target, and DirecTV. And I can't remember my calendar, but let's say Monday, I'd block it out from 8 a.m. until noon. I'm going to do nothing but make outbound calls. And I found I can make 100 outbound calls in 4 hours. And if I make 100 calls, I'll set about 3 appointments. If I set 3 appointments, I'll book 1 deal. And that's how I would do it. I would cold call corporations, and you just block out your calendar for what matters. What's tough, though, is when we say what matters and we don't block off time for it, because you know what I'm talking about. You're on a date with your wife and the text message comes in, and then it mentally takes you, even though you're physically present, you're now mentally in a euphoric high or a dystopia low, but nothing has changed other than what came through on that screen. And according to Psychology Today, the average American now has over 90 interruptions per day. 90, according to Psychology Today. It's very hard to write a book, to make a cold call, to produce 5 kids, co-produce 5 kids, or to do anything if you're perpetually distracted. And so we've just got to get to a place. And Paul Graham, by the way, Paul Graham is my influence for having the schedule the way I have it now. He's the guy behind Airbnb, Dropbox, and Reddit, who famously does not keep a smartphone near him. Paul Graham's my inspiration.
Well, that's pretty smart because all those interruptions are all coming from smartphones.
Oh my gosh. And a lot of times they're good interruptions. Maybe I'm sharing too much, but my father died from Lou Gehrig's disease going on 2.5 years ago. And I just got a call from my mom today. Got a call from my mom, right? Because I keep my phone off. So I'm doing the interview with you right now. My phone is not near me. It's away. It's at the bar, actually. And my desk is a bar, like a restaurant bar. So it's over there. But in between meetings, I had one of my clients that's out of town. So I picked up my phone, to check missed calls and stay on top of things. And my mom called. And the problem is, this is an anniversary that was critical to their marriage. And at that moment, it really took me to a low point, really bad. So right before we're doing this, I had to go to the bathroom to stop crying. Because it's like, I'm a pretty solid dude, but watching my dad die of Lou Gehrig's disease was the worst. The worst. I was literally with him the moment he died. It was just terrible watching his physical body be stripped away of everything, but his mind was there. It was just terrible, just awful. And so my mom called, and she says, "Hey, honey," and she can't talk because she's bawling. And she said, "I know what she's trying to say." And So I was like, Mom, I will schedule dinner tonight. You want to do dinner tonight, Mom? Is that what you need, Mom? She's like, she just can't talk, you know? And that's awful. Like, it's awful that like I went there emotionally, right? I had to though, 'cause she's my mom. I only got one mom. But it's like, if I'm not careful and I'm on the show with you, what if she calls again? You know what I'm saying? Because like that's happening right now. This is a real thing that's currently happening. So I'm choosing to mentally not go there and to focus on your listening audience right now. But I'm just saying that is tough. I don't know about you guys, but man, when I get a bad complaint, the elephant in the room, and somebody says that I'm a horrible, we just had it happen on Monday. A young lady had worked with us for 5 years, and she left to go work for a competitor and then wrote us a big old dissertation. I'll call it the FU letter, where it's a big elaborate description of all the grievances she's had. This is the same woman who months ago thanked me for lifting her out of poverty and for helping her make more money than she's ever made before. And now she's going to go work for one of our ex-employees and directly compete with me. And I found that on a Monday morning when I checked my messages. But I have hundreds of employees, you know. But I check the message Monday when I go Monday. That's when that's why I keep my phone off, man, because I check that Monday and here it comes. And it was hurtful. When you help somebody, you help them, make a car payment, and you do all these things you do to help them that people don't see. And that's what you get as a reward. I mean, no good deed goes unpunished. And that smartphone blurs the boundaries. And now we're Daniel Goleman, the clinical psychologist. He talks about he's the one who wrote if you look at Daniel Goleman, Goleman, he's unbelievably we've had him on our podcast before. He wrote Emotional Intelligence, and he just did Emotional Intelligence 2.0. And he's talking in that book about how we have to redraw those boundaries, because if not, you live in dystopia. You've got to say, this is when I'm not going to respond to emails or calls, because it can eat you, man. I could tell you all the customers we have, but man, we have 4,000 members of Elephant in the Room, and we cut hair. That's what we do. It's like high-end haircuts. And as the Lord is my witness, we make a mistake about 1% of the time, 1 to 2% of the time. That's our average. And that means 40 people to 80 people a month are pissed. And my podcast, I tell people how to grow a business, and therefore people get pissed. When somebody's on a show telling you that you need to wake up at 5 a.m. and grind until 5 until you're not poor, they're like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to get rich quick. You're a jerk. And because everyone has the ability to write anonymous, anonymous is always the high ground here. You write the anonymous Glassdoor review. As a former ex-employee, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to write 3 pages about my, And if you're not careful, you have that smartphone sync to you, you live in a perpetual funk.
Well, when you cut the cord, what kind of impact did it have?
Well, the first impact is I sold one of my businesses back in the day, and I've sold a lot of companies. But I sold one. I won't mention the names. I don't want to get myself in trouble. But I sold the business, and the woman is calling me, who I sold it to. Like a year after I sold it to her, she's always calling me with like, hey, where's the passwords? I've clearly given her everything. We've had that offboarding. I've served my 2 months of, offboarding. And I just don't know where the passwords are. And she kind of talks like that. There's a lot of, I just don't know where the passwords are. I don't know if it was that sound that made me crazy, but it's like where are the passwords? And I said, I need you to know this. I have given you all the passwords, and I've given you my time. I sold you the company. Is it profitable? Yeah. Is it moving forward? Don't ever call me under any circumstance, because it's like we're partners, but I'm not making any money here. We don't particularly get along. And I just need you to know that you should never, ever speak to me again under any circumstance. Like, there's just so many great consultants. There's great marketing firms, but no. It was a one-time difficult conversation for a lifetime of peace. But she will not stop calling me, An elephant in the room. We had a guy recently. He wants us to like cut his hair in a way where you can put like Russell Westbrook's number in it, or whoever the new Thunder guy is. He wants us to put his number. Where you shave this, like he wants a 3D design that only I don't know. He wants like the Pavarotti of hair. He wants the Michelangelo of hair to go in and cut to the hair and to make the side the logo. And he says, my current hair place, they used to be able to do it back in Atlanta. Well, you're not in Atlanta, and we don't have anyone that can do that. Well, but they used to be able to do it. And I'm like, it's okay. You can cancel the membership. It's okay. It's month to month. We can move on. But if you don't get good at saying no and sometimes having that difficult conversation, you're going to have a difficult life. And so it is not comfortable. to have that conversation. Maybe more positive interactions would be where the chamber calls. We would like to have you renew this year's membership. You know, the chamber, you were our guest speaker last year, and we really loved it. Would you speak again? And you go, no, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then you can go passive aggressive or aggressive now. You got a fork. Passive aggressive is where you say, I'm just really busy. And they go, but we don't even know what date it is. And then you say, I'm perpetually booked out forever. I mean, that's kind of the passive aggressive. Or you could say, I'm doing an interview with this guy named Ty Crandall, or the Ty Crandalls of the future, or, whatever that is, whatever that thing is you're doing. And moving forward, I'm going to be with my son, or doing a podcast interview, or various things. And on that list is not your thing. So go and grow, because you just have to get used to saying no. And some people cannot handle it. I would say, Ty, 1/3 of the population gets angry at me when I tell them no. 1/3 is positive, like, hey, I appreciate that. Thank you. But then there's probably a third that just keeps following up. And that's the wear down method. And somebody who grew up without money, I mean, I understand that. And I applaud persistence, just not in my general direction. The printer guy, though, Tyler, he got me. He said, I need to meet with the owner of the business about your printing supplies. And I'd be happy to pay $100 for 30 minutes of his time. So he gave my assistant at the time, he gave her $50 cash. And he said, when's the gap in his schedule? And she goes, well, he's booked out perpetually, but if anything cancels, you can just sit out in the lobby. And if something cancels, I'll introduce. He goes, okay. So I had a cancellation, and there he is. And he's like, hi, I'm the guy who gave you $50, and here's the other 50. Let me show you how I can save you money. And that's how he got me. That was pretty impressive. Never seen that move. It was a good move.
That was pretty impressive. It worked, and you just gave us all a way into your schedule, by the way.
It was a move. It was a move. Now, Anthony Bockham just emailed and said he wanted to pay $500 for 30 minutes of my time, but I like Anthony Bockham. Anthony Bockham, he's a former employee who just sold his business for $500,000, and I like that guy a lot. And I'm like, Anthony, he was able to get through my assistant and my team and work his way through. And we were on the phone, and I said, why don't you just come be on our show for free on Monday, the 23rd of September? And he's like, no, I want to pay you. And I'm like, if you don't understand, like, you're on my why list. You grew up poor. I grew up without money. You're my mission. And see, then he's like, really? You don't owe me? I want to pay. I'm like, no, I already have 160 clients. You can't pay me, but you can be on the show. And he's just like giddy about it. So when you know your why, you can be very clear about why you do things. I don't camp. People want to go camping. Nope, don't do that. I don't camp. I don't travel. Used to travel all the time. I don't travel anymore at all. I mean, almost ever. Don't go to weddings anymore. Used to a lot. So you just get clear about what matters to you, because you only have a certain amount of time. And time is your most important resource. Being on this show with you right now is very important. And talking to Anthony is very important. And basically wrestling my big friend in the pool to try to cheat and win the game of basketball, that's important to me. That stuff matters. My silky chickens matter. Chasing my wife around trying to produce a 6th child after a vasectomy matters. That matters. It's harder after the vasectomy, but I'm persistent. But you've got to schedule time for what matters. Otherwise, you're going to be pulled in all those directions and be in a dystopia.
Do your evenings look like your days? Like, is it, you schedule out your evenings when you're with your family?
Nothing. It's like, I come home, and last night we hopped in the pool, and Leia's one of my twins, and she's a great kid. And she chooses not to go to youth group with the other kids. She just doesn't like the big crowds, the Christian youth group we go to at Life Church. And so her and I are in the pool, and we're just swimming around, and she's trying to race me, and we're racing each other, and we're practicing layups in the pool. And that was it. And then I'm just 100% dad. Like, I'm just dad time. And then my son came home, and he's trying to do front flips off the cave, which is, it's incredibly, I don't understand why he does. He tries to scare me. And he's feeling pretty good about it. He front flips into the deep end, but he doesn't go all the way around. So he lands on his back or something. That was pretty hilarious. And then we always watch a lot of documentaries. I make my kids watch Seinfeld with me. We go to Atwood's a lot, which is a farm supply store where I run into no one I ever have met before, because it's kind of rednecky. It's a great store, but it's kind of rednecky, and I'm kind of rednecky. So we go in there to buy like chickens and stuff. I go to Guitar Center all the time with the kids just to look for something that they'll sell me. Anything like a mic adapter, a cable. I just love the gear, the audio. I'm an audio guy. Do that. We go to Hobby Lobby. I try to buy knickknacks that I can nail onto my walls. I have a lot of accoutrements. We watch the Patriots obsessively. And my wife loves Dr. Laura, and she'll tell me how basically I ask, this is our date nights. I'll say, what could I do better? And she's got a list because, I'll ask the question, hey, what could I do better? And she'll usually have 1 to 7 things that I need to do. And it'll be like, hey, you didn't introduce me the other day to the new employee at the office. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. Because I'm always trying to get better as a husband. And I'm like a solid C-, but she's an A+, and I'm trying to bridge that gap. I've been married 18 years. I just got to bridge that gap. So really it's like hanging out with the kids and how to be a better husband is what I do. And I plant a lot of trees. I do plant trees. I have an addictive thing where it's weird. I plant usually 2 to 5 trees every week.
You just randomly walk around and get tree seeds and plant them in different places?
I cheat a little bit. I go to Atwoods where they got the trees, the pine trees that are already to a certain height, and I plant those. So they're, like a 4-foot tall tree, and we have acres and acres and acres of land. We live behind a wall, and it looks out over the land. That's the
So you don't just randomly go onto other people's properties and plant?
Oh, no, although I've had that thought. But I love planting trees. There's something beautiful about planting a tree. Then 4 or 5 years later, seeing that guy grow up, it's awesome.
That's awesome. I knew a guy once that took a tree from the side of the road and the cops got him, and then they asked him what he was doing, and he said he was planting it, and they're like, you can't do that. You need to just get it out of there. And he
yeah, you gotta be careful. The tree planting game, the tree moving game is a dangerous game. I have a story about that. When I went to Oral Roberts University, I was not allowed to promote my company, DJ Connection. I was not allowed to because there's no social dancing allowed at the Christian school. The problem was it's $20,000 a year to go there, and I was supporting myself by DJing. So I had to get 400 people per semester to go to the school, charge you $5 a pop. It's $2,000. I'm like, that's not enough money. So I figured I got to get 4,000 students to come to my dance parties at the Marriott where it was very hot. So I passed out flyers so people knew the party was coming up. And then whenever it was the night of the big event, you got to get that top-of-mind awareness that Guy Kawasaki talks about, the top-of-mind awareness. I put those soap packets in the fountains. So they would just flood everywhere. It just floods everywhere. And then people knew, oh, it's a dance party because the fountains are flooding. It's a DJ. So everyone around campus is like, DJ Clay, big party. The deans would call me. Voicemail, boop, we got a voicemail. Mr. Clark, we need to see you in the dean's office. And I'm like, frick, they're on to me. I go in there, Mr. Clark, there's soap everywhere. Are you planning a big dance party? Is that what's happening? And this was pre-Christ for me, before I knew Christ. And I didn't personally put the things in there. I would always pay people, so I was twice removed. I didn't personally put the soap suds in, but that's unfortunate they did it again on the night of my dance parties. And that was kind of my college interaction. But I also, with a group of guys for fun, some of my guys who'd help me promote dance parties, we would move the trees that they were planting on campus just to see how long it would take the bureaucracy to figure it out. So they would plant these trees down a row lining a sidewalk, and we would move them. We would move them so that it would block a key entrance, where they were building a sidewalk, let's say. And we'd do it where the sidewalk would just lead you into a row of trees that would be in front of the door, just that kind of crap. And it would take months before they would figure out what we were. I would move trees in weird shapes. I would dig them up like your story you were telling me. I'd dig them up from ditches and plant them in the middle of nowhere. Just weird stuff. And it was fabulous.
Clay, how does somebody get to a point? Because when people start businesses, they feel like they can't say no to anything. So is it just that you eventually evolve in business ownership and entrepreneurship to get to that level? Or is this something you think people should try to formulate a plan to do right from the beginning?
Well, what we're going to do, if it's okay, I'm going to walk your listeners through a very specific path and that works. And then maybe if we do that, then maybe out of that will come some answers. What we're going to do is there's a kind of a multi-step process. And let's go through 5 steps. Step 1, Juan, you figure out how much money do you want to make to achieve your goals? And don't be stupid about this. I want to make $2 billion. Okay, great. You make $2 billion and come talk to me about it. That's great. Meanwhile, let's just be real. Let's say I want to make $96,000 a year so I can take my kids to Disney and pay for college and have healthcare or something. Let's join the $100,000 club. Okay. I think there's a lot of people, or let's join the $300,000 club. Let's try that. So then you say, how much money do I want to make? Great. Then you got to figure out, okay, how many customers do I need per year to hit that goal? All right. So how many customers? So step 2, how many customers do you need to hit that goal? And you go, well, I fix mufflers. I do this with all my clients. So I'm just going to give you an example of one of my clients. He fixes mufflers. His company is called Roy's Garage. It's an automotive repair shop in Broken Arrow. It's thegarageba.com. You can look him up. You can verify it's real. And he tells me his number. And he says, my goal is to go to San Diego every week. He lives in Oklahoma. I want to go to San Diego every week with my wife to enjoy the city and to give back to a local church we support. I'm like, okay, you want an airplane from Tulsa to San Diego every single week? Yeah, okay. So that's our goal. So we know how much that costs, and we say, how many new customers do you need a week? And we discovered we needed about 25 new customers per week. Now, we got to figure out how many rejections from the market do we need to hit that goal. So for him, we've discovered that we need about 150 to 200 rejections per yes. A rejection meaning someone visiting his website. That's how many rejections he needs. He needs 100 clicks for every one lead. And so if you Google search right now, if you have the ability to Google, you just Google search Broken Arrow automotive repair. Broken Arrow, that's the town, automotive repair. Boom. And then there you'll find him. Top in Google, there he is. And then people on the website. And then we say, well, we're not getting enough rejections. Okay. So then we need to do more AdWords, right? More AdWords and more Facebook ads. And we're doing that. Now we have more rejections we're getting. And then the problem is now we're getting leads, step 4, but why aren't we converting the leads? Well, we realized we didn't have a call script in place. So people call, yeah, how much is it to repair a muffler? And the sales rep may say, it's listed on our website. Oh, thank you. Or, well, $7. Or, you know what I mean? The sales reps are just quoting prices and they're not actually selling. So you build a script. Step 4, you build a script of some kind, either face-to-face with your clients or over the phone script. If you're just strictly internet, then luckyorange.com allows you to see what people are doing on your website, luckyorange.com. But it's like you're a coach of a pro sport. You need to see the game film. You need to know what people are actually doing, okay? So then if you have a brick and mortar, you put video cameras in, which we did at his place. Target does this. This is not shady. This is Quick Trip does this. Most businesses do this. You know, so people clearly know they're being recorded. But then you analyze the film and you say, why aren't they converting? Is my sales guy who's creating customers terrible? In most cases, yes, before there's coaching, because a lot of times we're not self-aware. I don't recognize I'm not doing a good job until I see it on video. I don't recognize I don't sound very good until I hear the audio. We all have sort of an inflated feeling of self until we see the audio or the video. Then now we want to script it though. You want to script it so that it is not tribal knowledge. You don't want verbal knowledge. You want it to be written down. God said, hey, Moses, come up here. So Moses is up there. For some reason, God talks like that in my mind. So Moses, here are the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments. God, are you talking through a CB? No, Moses, I just sound like this because it's a podcast. Okay, God, what? I've got these 10 things. I want you to write them down. You know, Moses comes back down, talks to Aaron, the first manager in the history of the world. Turned out he wasn't a very good manager. They've got orgies going on, golden calves going on, but he had the things written down. Here are the rules. A lot of businesses don't have it written down. We're too busy being dysfunctional to be functional and write it down. So we got to write down that system, that what is the magic formula. Then the next step, we got to figure out how much did it cost us to actually close the deal. Accounting? I want to listen to a different podcast. I don't like accounting. So you've got to write down how much does it cost you per conversion to actually convert somebody. You got to think about that. Then you want to do the whole profit first game. You want to tack on a little bit extra to make sure you have enough profit. So the DJ business, I found out I was doing 4,000 weddings a year. 4,000 events, 4,000 homies. Go to djconnection.com. You can see the company I sold. It still exists. 4,000 events. My wife, who's a smart lady, she says, babe, we only make like $50 after charging a woman $600, meeting with her mom, doing all the planning, sound, equipment, lights, all that. We only have $50 left. We need to raise our prices about 160. It was like 167 bucks. No, we raised it. It was $117. It was $117 because we were only making 50. That she wanted to get to 167 to hit our financial goal or something. So I'm like, I can't raise prices by $150 per person because I might piss somebody off. And she's like, well, if we're not making any money, why are you going to the Sand Springs softball thing? And this is before I learned to say no. And I'm like, because I care about Sand Springs softball. And she says, more than you care about our own kids? Oh, snap. So then I raise my prices. Thank you for calling DJ Connection. This is Clay. How can I help you make your day great? Yeah, Clay, I'm looking to book the Sand Springs softball event for that $500 package we always do. And I'm like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And we do the sales script and we build rapport and we find the needs and we deliver benefits. And we, all right, well, Doug, or whatever his name was, Doug or Carl. Carl, in Oklahoma, most people talk like this, okay? So we say, Carl, it'll be $650 now. I tell you what, man, it's always been $500, and I don't understand why you're raising prices on. Is that how you treat your customers, man? I'm not trying to irritate you, but I live in abject poverty, and I'm always busy. So I have to raise prices, or I'm going to end up sleeping with, you. My wife's I can't sleep with my wife. If we're super poor, we get poor enough. I mean, she's a looker too. I might end up, living with you, Carl. And Carl was, I can relate to that, brother. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do it, but it better be good. And then, the vast majority of people went with the new prices. A better example of this that's more relatable to everybody, I went into Best Buy the other day to buy a bunch of computers because we have hundreds of employees. And I go in and the new Mac Mini, it turns out it's $200 more than it was 18 months ago. Good job, Tim Cook. It was a little bit more money than I wanted to charge, but it was profitable. And so we've got to do the accounting right there. Now that we got that going on, now the next step is we need to do a group interview. So every week you need to interview candidates, whether you're hiring or not, and interview all of them at the same time. Because according to Inc. magazine, you can look this up, 85% of people are lying on a resume. So you think you're reading a nonfiction, but you're reading a fiction book when you're reading that resume. So you interview all the people at one time, and the people that you like, you have all of them shadow you. Just say, I'm going to have you come to work tomorrow and shadow me for like an hour. We'll see if it's a good fit. And you always do that because the moment that your system starts working, that's when the betrayal happens. That's when your top guy competes with you, or that's when your cousin's sister gets pregnant and she can't work for you anymore. That's when, you wake up with a weird rash and you can't stop scratching it and you're the key member of the team and only you know the passcode. So you want to have the group interview going. All right. So every week you do that group interview, schedule it. And the final couple steps you want to do is you want to do some accounting. That's terrible. So every week I take an hour and I look at the numbers, look at the numbers. And you make sure you are actually hitting your goals. Because a lot of times we got things, we're automatic billing for things. We're getting Ancestry.com. We got Netflix going on. We got a Facebook ad. We're not checking the leads anymore. Somehow we're getting auto charged for something. We got a Diners Club. We got an MLM we're a part of. Somehow we're auto shipping soap, just tons of soap being shipped. Gummy bears being shipped, natural acai berries being shipped. You got something you're buying. I remember I rented Father of the Bride one time, and this is well after you should have stopped renting movies, but I like going in there to look for movies. I went to the world's last video store called Family Video, and I rented, it's still around, by the way, Family Video. It's in Broken Arrow. I don't know how they make money, but there's something about the nostalgic. I wanted to tell my kids about the Blockbuster experience. So I go in there, I rent a movie, and we didn't return it. So you look down at that bill, and you go, wow, I've paid for this thing 5 times. But it's just so important that you implement these systems I just explained to you. And you can download my book for free right now called the Boom Book. Boom. You can download it free if you go to thrivetimeshow.com. You can download it. And the system is a great detail. It's available for you there at thrivetimeshow.com.
Clay, I've had a blast having you on the show. I know you're running off to your next scheduled hourly meeting. So where should everybody go to learn more about you, what you're up to? thrivetimeshow.com?
Yeah, well, what I want to do is I want to flip it just a little bit. For all your listeners, because I know that you have a lot of loyal listeners, if anybody will leave a review on iTunes or Google for your show, not for me, but for your show, leave a review about your fine host here who puts up with crazy people like me. If you leave a review for him, just subscribe to his podcast and leave him a review and email that to info@thrivetimeshow.com, info@thrivetimeshow.com, to email like a screenshot of your review. And I will, we have a conference that's $250 to attend, and you can get a ticket for just $37 if you do that. So we can do that for you. Or if you go to thebestseobook.com, thebestseobook.com, you can download my newest book, search engine book, which has helped create millions of dollars of extra income for people. You can download it for free at thebestseobook.com. But leave a review for this guy. He's awesome. You got to leave a review. He's working hard. He's putting up with people like me.
Thanks, Clay, so much for coming on the show, man. It's been a blast having you.
I appreciate you. You look great on video, by the way. Incredible. No, is there any Photoshop going on? You look great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Most tell me I have a face for radio, so I appreciate you being the exception.
Beautiful. Just beautiful. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Make sure you, and I appreciate that, Clay. As Clay said, really cool, willing to give a massive discount on their event. If you leave a review for our show and then email that to info@thrivetimeshow.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com, and I'll go ahead and leave that on the show resources page. Also, make sure you grab that SEO book at thebestseobook.com, and also make sure you go to thrivetimeshow.com. That's where a lot of the really cool information we didn't get a chance to dive into is as well. I'll leave all this on the show resources page. If there's one action you take away, well, there's 3 I think he gave you, but make sure that you visit thrivetimeshow.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com, and don't forget to leave your review on this show, and then email the fact that you did that to info@thrivetimeshow.com so you can actually go to their event and see Clay in person. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Make sure you visit thrivetimeshow.com.